Right there, maybe?
So this is the Morristown radar.
Okay. Morristown radar, it looks like. May have to switch.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go.
That's close to the Morristown radar, so we're looking at it from a slightly different angle.
Right.
And you can also kind of see
you can see this one up here just a little bit better,
really,
too.
That's a broad area just south.
There and then there, too. Yeah, so there you go. So that's the two areas that we're concerned about with this storm. Just south of Somerset, he's drawing around the one that we're looking at in Wayne County. So if you're basically right here, south of Somerset, down toward Burnside, this would be the area if there was a tornado that it would be. And down here in Wayne County, well south of Monticello, kind of along the Tennessee border. Now, we were watching on Facebook a little earlier a tornado-warned storm that was getting close to the border down there in Wayne County, that could be part of that storm that's moved across down to Wayne County. But again, these are going out into parts of McCreary County and eventually over into Laurel County there in the next few minutes with this storm. So again, this is something we're continuing to watch. But right there, those areas that are circled would be the best possibilities of seeing any type of rotation in the atmosphere.
And that is true, Brandon. I just want to point out, I'm looking at a second source. I got a radar scope just off screen here, and I'm going to switch to the Morristown radar so we can get an accurate look at just how high up we're looking with these storms. So we've got that area of green next to blue there in the southeastern parts of Wayne County. Mm-hmm. And looking at it from the radar perspective, we're looking, and the radar is not straight out. It goes up. It tilts up as you go up in the atmosphere. So we're looking about 7,500 feet up. So we've got a hint that this storm has got at least some rotation to it in the mid and upper levels.
Right.
Whether that's reaching the ground, probably not at this point.
Right.
We don't have a tornado warning in place, and we still are looking at that. There's the latest scan's going to come in here in just a second. But at this point, we don't see anything that would indicate to us that there is anything on the ground right now. I'm looking in the Weather Service chat. They have not issued anything else on these storms. But again, 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, and I'll go back to reflectivity so you can kind of just see what we're looking at here. 2 warnings right now, one for Wayne, southern Pulaski, McCreary, southern Laurel, and most of northern Whitley County. And that one will run until 3:15. Mm-hmm. Just making sure I got my times right.
Yeah, both of these warnings that we're going to get ready to talk about go through 3:15.
Yes. This southern storm is moving to the east and northeast at 85 miles per hour.
So it's trucking. It's booking.
It is faster than highway speeds. I think troopers are on the tail of this storm. That's how fast it's going. Not literally. That was a...
Right.
Anyway. Cooperative. Within the next 7 minutes or so. Stearns, that's in McCreary County there, by 3:17. If it holds together, we're talking Williamsburg by 3:30, Yeadon 3:32, and towards Corbin and North Corbin by about 3:35, and then that continues off into portions of Knox and Clay counties if it holds together toward 4 o'clock.
Right. Now, we've been talking about all night. These were the areas that we were concerned about if we were going to have any potential very severe tornadic development. They were under the highest risk levels before they reset there with the new day 1 update. And this storm, very electrical. Both these storms, actually. You see all these little indicators there? Those are lightning bolts. So, again, very electrical. You're probably getting a pretty good little light show down that way this morning. And look there, number of strikes down in that southern storm at 26. Let's take a look at the northern storm there between Pulaski and over toward London there, Laurel County. I'm sure it's pretty similar there as well.
And notice how far away those lightning strikes are near downtown London.
Yeah.
That's why we say when thunder roars, go indoors.
Exactly. And if you can hear thunder, you need to be inside because the lightning is close enough to hit you if you can even hear thunder, even if you don't see it. So that's something you got to remember for that too. But again, severe thunderstorm warning. This is not a tornado warning, but there is a tornado possible tag on both of these severe thunderstorm warnings that go until 3:15. And that's basically from Pulaski County down to the border and over toward parts of Whitley County and Laurel County there on the outer edges of those. So again, put a track on the northern storm for me if you don't care, so we can kind of give London another heads up. It was just after 3 o'clock, a little bit earlier. I think we're getting closer to that now. It's coming in basically into eastern Pulaski County.
I appear to have, hold on, I got to reset here for a second. But we'll get there. I just remembered I was going based on speed and not on time.
Okay.
So I need to just switch that up. It's going to look a little, radar's going to look a little different here for a second, but we'll fix that here.
Okay.
We go. And we'll put a cone on it.
There you go. So London basically right now it's pretty close to you. So I'd say the next just few minutes while he's getting that track out there.
This was 55?
Yeah, that was moving
70.
a little bit slow.
No, that was 70.
So 70 on the northern storm and 85 on the southern storm. So London, you've got about a few minutes, about 20 minutes there. It's almost 3:08 right now. About 3:22, it's going to be in your backyard. Bush over there in eastern Laurel County at 3:33. Burning Springs in Clay County about 3:37. Oneida over in eastern Clay County. Big Creek about 2 minutes apart there, 3:46 and 3:48. Then Moselle, that's over into parts of Leslie County, if it holds together, around about 4 o'clock, 3:57. Cutchin, about 4:04. So again, this is the northern storm. The southern storm will pass through parts of Knox County, maybe even into Bell County as it goes through there. And again, Corbin, a major city that's in the track of these storms. London, the major city that's in the track of these storms. Williamsburg, anywhere along I-75, all the way into East Tennessee. But you can tell by the polygons, these are kind of moving to the northeast. So basically, if you're in Clay County, if you're in Laurel County, if you're in Whitley County, Knox County, even Bell County, maybe even northern sections of Bell County, Leslie County, even eventually Perry County, you're going to want to watch this one because this is something we've been tracking. And also, Evan, we have something else to talk about that just came out in the last few minutes, that tornado watch extension that goes until 7 o'clock in the morning. He's going to reset and kind of show you that one there, and we'll show you, hopefully it's been filled in a little bit. The box is in, but actually I think some of the counties have been filled
That's,
in.
I believe, the whole extent.
Okay, so this, does it not go all the way to Perry?
No, just Bell, Clay, Jackson, Knox, Laurel, McCreary, Owsley, Pulaski, Rockcastle, Wayne, and Whitley.
Yeah, so basically all the areas that have filled in are now under that tornado watch until 7 a.m. I know that warning or that polygon still goes out toward Perry County, but they are not included at this point. They might be something that the Storm Prediction Center is looking at, but so far right now we know that these counties are in the tornado watch box until 7 a.m. Again, we're not expecting any tornadic activity. There you go. Thank you. That's a good one to put in there. Bell, Clay, Laurel, Pulaski, Wayne, and Whitley. About a little less than 200,000 people impacted by this watch. Goes until 7 a.m. here on this Saturday morning. So we're going to keep an eye on this. These storms are moving fast. As we go back to radar again.
Okay, Brandon, sorry to interrupt you. We now have a tornado warning.
Okay.
This is a tornado warning for parts of Knox, Laurel, McCreary, Wayne, and Whitley counties. This is near Cooperative or Whitley City, moving east at 80 miles per hour.
So take us back to radar and zoom us in there so we can get this for you. So right here is your tornado warning, and that's basically right here is kind of what we're looking at for that there. That's coming out of McCreary County into Whitley County. So tornado warning until what time?
This goes until 3:45.
All right, so we're now in the thick of it here, 3:45. And again, read those counties off to me one more time.
This is going to be for parts of Knox, Laurel, McCreary, Wayne, and Whitley counties.
Okay. So
this does not include London.
Right. That's south of London.
Does not yet include Barberville, but it's close.
Right. Barberville's right here.
This does include Williamsburg. Williamsburg is in the polygon. For Wayne County, this does not include Monticello. This is the very far eastern part of Wayne County and then into McCreary County as well.
So right here basically is the Wayne-McCreary line. So this is more into McCreary County. Let's go to velocity real fast and kind of see what's going on with this storm down that way because
there it is.
Right there it is. So it's basically riding along the McCreary, Wayne County line right there. You see where those blues and greens are mixing together. We have no confirmed reports that a tornado is on the ground, but if there is one, that right there is where it would be. Take us in a little bit closer. Stay on velocity so we can maybe get some of the little towns down that way that this could impact. It's basically, there's Pine Knot over in McCreary County. Stearns is right there. Cooperative, you mentioned that one there. So if you're in those counties, you need to get into your safe spot right now. You need to get downstairs under something sturdy, in a basement if you have one. If you're in a mobile home, try to get out as fast as you can. It's just one of those situations that you need to be in a safe spot ASAP, because if there is a tornado on the ground, it's going to be basically right here in this area coming up on Cooperative pretty quick. And eventually, if it stays on that same course, Whitley City, you'll be under the gun. Stearns, you'll be under the gun. Anywhere along US 27 there in the eastern parts of the county.
So what I'm going to do, Brandon, I just want to point out, this is moving so fast. This is moving east at 80 miles per hour.
Right.
Okay? So you don't have a lot of time.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and put a cone on here just so we know where exactly we're headed over the next 10 minutes or so. Yamacraw, within the next 3 minutes, essentially. Whitley City within the next 8, and over toward Beulah Heights by 3:21. That's that area that we're looking at for the potential for a tornado, and that's going to be just across the Wayne-McCreary County line in McCreary County, just south of Highway 92.
Okay, so basically you need to get to your tornado safe spot right now. Don't wait. This storm is moving fast. Whitley City, Yamacraw, you need to be in your tornado safe spot right now because we do not have any confirmed reports of this on the ground. But that reflectivity signature, again, it's broad, but it's there. So, again, this is an area where we might see a better chance of a tornado developing than we would see further into the mountains. So again, you need to be in your safe spots right now. It's just got minutes. I mean, it's 3:13 right now. You see on the track there, Whitley City, one of the most or one of the more populated cities there in McCreary County, then just to the north of that, Beulah Heights. If you're along 27 between Whitley City, back up toward Beulah Heights, I know Beulah Heights is not on 27, but if you're basically right there in that polygon between the northern parts of McCreary County, actually go back over here so I can point it out to you now that we're clearing that up. But right there is the area of rotation we're watching. If you're along this section of 27 in the polygon between parts of northern McCreary County all the way south there, Whitley City, Stearns in that polygon as well. But this area right here, you're going to be seeing that traveling right by Whitley City in the next little bit there. Very quick moving storm, 80 miles per hour.
The National Weather Service in Jackson, Kentucky has issued a tornado warning for east central Wayne County, southeastern Laurel County, western Knox County, central McCreary County, northern Whitley County, until 3:45 a.m. At 3:09 a.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Cooperative, or near Whitley City, moving east at 80 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Beulah Heights around 3:15 a.m. Cumberland Falls State Park around 3:20 a.m. Youngs Creek around 3:25 a.m. Other locations in the path of this tornadic thunderstorm include Faber, Bertha Station, and Garrick. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 3:45 a.m. for the following county: Knox, Kentucky.
Whitley City, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Stearns, you need to be in your safe spot right now. Yamacraw, you need to be in your safe spot right now because this is traveling basically kind of east-northeast at about 80 miles per hour, so you don't have a whole lot of time to get into your safe spot there.
That's right. Just checking the Weather Service chat. We got nothing new out of that, but this is still moving to the east and the northeast at 80 miles per hour. So I'm going to put another track on this as it moves further to the east. I'm not used to this panel tool here on this particular view, but now I'm going to back this up because I'm going to do this. If this holds together, now this is not likely to hold on for a long period of time,
right?
But if it does, here's where we've got the track here, and I'm going to pack this up. I got to back it up a little bit more because it's going to be moving at 80 miles per hour.
It's moving so fast, we're going to kind of push it out to give you a better indication of where it's heading next.
And there's that new scan. It just came down a little bit, which is good. But if this holds together over the next hour, this is an hour in advance. And again, we've already seen it cycle a little bit. But we're talking places like Stearns, basically within the next 2 minutes. So Stearns, you need to be in your safe place now. That's under something sturdy, a basement if you have one. If you don't, an interior room, lowest floor of the building. Put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. Williamsburg, you've got about 25 minutes, or you got about a little less than 20 minutes. Corbin, a little more than 20 minutes. Barberville, you've got about a half hour. If this continues to move like it does, which is moving at 80 miles an hour, moving through the northern, the central parts of McCreary County, if it holds together, as this cone kind of holds together, we're talking places like Harlan by 4 o'clock. Now, does that mean Harlan's going to see a tornado at 4 o'clock? No, not necessarily. But it shows us the cone of uncertainty with this velocity couplet that we see there in McCreary County that's continuing to push to the east. So I'm going to clear that off and zoom back in on that as we head into portions of McCreary County. And the good news, at least it looks to be, Brandon, is that couplet has come down a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So we're seeing a little bit less in the way of possible rotation there in the atmosphere. Right here is the area just north of Cooperative, just south of Highway 92. So if there is a tornado, that's where it will be. Another little bit of a couplet trying to show up right here, just north of 92 there. You see that one right there?
Yeah, there's actually, I was going to highlight
actually, there's two more I see. So basically, I didn't even notice that one until you just pointed that one out. So yeah, so there's a couple different ones here. Also, might want to circle that one just to kind of give people an indication of where we're looking at this. So it's a very turbulent atmosphere right now. So we're going to continue to watch that. This is, of course, our main area of concern. But if you live anywhere around 92, get in your safe spot right now. 27 in McCreary County, Whitley City, Stearns. It's north of Pine Knot. The polygon is all the way up there. Again, close to the Pulaski County border. You need to be in your safe spot because this is racing off. Okay.
See how fast that moved.
New scan there. It's already moved to right here. So it's basically crossed 92, coming up on 27, Whitley City in a safe spot right now because there is no confirmed reports of tornado on the ground, but this is the area it's moving right to, Whitley City, about right here. So you need to be in your safe spot right now. Anybody on 27, basically close to the Pulaski County line, all the way into basically Stearns, get into your tornado safe spot right now. No confirmed reports right now of that. We're seeing some couplets trying to show up there. This is the area of main concern. We have a couple other severe thunderstorm warnings. They may have already expired to the north there. It was supposed to expire at 3:15, but this is the only active warning we have right now. So if this continues on its current path, it's going to go into Whitley County, Williamsburg, not included in this particular actually they are in this particular polygon. So we're going to continue to watch this. 75, if you know of anybody traveling 75 between Corbin and Williamsburg, maybe get them to pull off the interstate, get to somewhere safe right now. Because this storm is racing to the north and east there at 80 miles per hour. Marsh's signing at 320, Youngs Creek 331, Williamsburg 333. So you have just a few minutes, about 13 minutes there right now, 320, and you'll see Faber and Julep over there, 336 and 337. So again, Marsh's sighting over still in McCreary County, and then once you get up toward Youngs Creek and Faber and all those communities, you're getting into parts of Whitley County with that one.
So, Brandon, I've got, and I'm going to pop it up here. That this cone is based on speed. So you're looking at, this storm is moving at 80 miles an hour. Here's where it's going over the next 20 minutes. Right. I'm going to take this off here, but like you were saying, Marsh's sighting now. Youngs Creek in the next 10 minutes. It's a very rural part of northern McCreary into western Whitley County.
Right.
But I'm going to pop this off real quick, and I'm going to show the debris scope, or the correlation coefficient. What I'm showing you is essentially the radar can not only look at the speed and direction of things that it's bouncing off of, it can look at their size too.
Right.
It's dual polarization. And what it's seeing is what you'd see here. The red, that's numbers near 1, which means everything's really the same.
Right.
Numbers closer to 0, if we were to see some blue or some yellow, more yellow than we're seeing here, or green, that would indicate that something has touched down and that there is debris lofted. We are not seeing that here in northern McCreary County. So at this point, we don't see anything that has been, at least has been lofted.
Right.
We don't have any confirmations of a tornado on the ground. We have gotten no reports at this time, but the tornado warning still runs for another 25 minutes or so into northern McCreary County and into Whitley County. And it also includes, I don't want to forget our folks here in parts of Laurel County. This is far southern Laurel County. This does not include London. This does not include East Bernstadt. This does not include anywhere south or anywhere north of Corbin. This is essentially Corbin and south in Laurel County. Western Knox County, basically west of 25E there. Doesn't include Girdler.
Does not include Barberville.
Does not include Barberville at this point, but it is heading in your direction. And I would go ahead and say the folks there in Wayne County, this storm has passed you. You're still technically under the warning, but the threat has passed you at this point. And that threat right now is the main threat there is north of Whitley City. You see that crossing 27 right now. And I'll highlight it there for you, and Brandon can do a better job there on the wall. This is going to go south of 104, basically between 104 and 700.
Yeah. So
104 to the north and 700 to the south as you get off of 27 north of Whitley City.
So basically, if you're between Whitley City and Wilborg, you need to be in your safe spot right now because we're watching this area right here, potential rotation. Right there, he's got it circled just north of Whitley City. And there's also maybe just a smidge down toward Whitley City and Stearns there. It's not great, but right here is the one we're most concerned about. It's traveling basically back off. It'll cross probably 104. It's crossing 27 here probably right now, actually, as fast as this storm is moving, going across 104. Honeybee, you need to be in your safe spot right now. 80-mile-per-hour storm forward movement, not winds, but I can tell you, even if there is not a tornado on the ground, I guarantee you're seeing strong winds with this system. So make sure that you're being safe. Now, tornado or not, straight line winds can do just as much, if not more damage than a tornado. Everybody talks about tornadoes the worst. Straight line winds can be just as bad. So again, we have no reports of a confirmed tornado, but it would basically be right here in this area coming up on the 104, and they actually just canceled the tornado warning for parts of Wayne County, but they
really just Wayne,
They extended it. Did they extend it? Is Barberville still not in the...
Barberville's still not in it. They would have to issue a new warning for that.
Yeah,
so this
that's
is the same
Corbin,
polygon.
and it's actually just north of Williamsburg. They've pulled Williamsburg out of that polygon too. So Corbin, this could be moving towards you. Here's the reason that they kind of make these polygons so wide. Is some of these storms, especially the ones that move pretty fast, it's very uncertain on who will get what. So this is why these polygons are not just like real thin, but the Weather Service has a pretty good idea based on what they're seeing on radar and velocity of who might get the biggest impacts. If you know anybody, 25W back over Cumberland Falls Parkway, north of Williamsburg, south of Corbin, I-75. We see that this storm could impact you here in the next little bit. Corbin proper, Corbin and North Corbin in this polygon warning. So again, you need to be in your safe spot right now. You still got some time there. And then again, we were watching down here in McCreary County, the area of rotation. It's getting a little bit more broad there. And this area kind of far away from the radar at Jackson, so it's kind of hard to figure out exactly where that is going to be setting up there. But at least based on the last couple of scans, we see the rotation getting a little bit more broad. But regardless, it is still there around 104. It has crossed 27, and again, it's just basically moving kind of the northeast there at about 80 miles per hour. So if you are in communities west of what we're talking about right now, if you're in the western parts of Whitley County, tornado safe spot. You need to be there. You need to stay there until we give you the all clear at this point. Now, again, we're staying with velocity because we're trying to keep an eye on this system here. Goes until 3:45. So you can see, again, we're looking right here in the circle that Evan has drawn. That's the area. If there is a tornado, we have no confirmed reports of the tornadoes on the ground, that's where it would be. That is now east of US 27, south of 104.
That's right, Brandon, and I'm just looking at this again. This storm is still moving at 80 miles per hour, so they didn't change that part of the warning. So I'm going to update the cone here. As this pushes off to the east and northeast, I'm going to try to keep it with the polygon there. This would be over the next half hour. Should this circulation hold together, Youngs Creek, you got about 10 minutes. Wofford, about 13 minutes. Faber, about 15 minutes. Corbin area, by about 3:43. Barberville, again, if it holds together, by about 3:50. So 25 minutes there. Girdler, by 3:52. And Bush by 3:55. That's a half hour out. That's where that cone goes. And then eventually, it's not on the map here. It's not on the list. But Trosper there. That's over toward parts there. Oh, so we've got a little tighter circulation there.
Right there. I'm glad you circled that. So let's try to get a little closer. so we can point out some of these roads here, and we might have to recircle that. But it continues to cycle. So we're continuing to see redevelopment there. So right here, 700. If you're along 700, basically between Marcia Siding, up toward Honeybee, south of Beulah Heights now, south of 104. So right here, if there is a tornado, right here is where it's going to be, okay? Sandhill Church, I don't know if that's a road or not, but that might be the Sandhill Church where that's at. Highway 700, Indian Creek Church, some of these areas out there. This is in McCreary County. This is rural McCreary County, but it's basically just east of some of the most populated areas. There's Bear Wallow School, and then you got over here, let me step this way so you can see behind me, Mid-Spring School over that way. I think these are probably roads. It's just not showing up the road names on the end of that. But again, these areas right there, you need to be in your tornado safe spots because this is the area right along Highway 700 that we're keeping a very close eye on. It's approaching the Whitley County line, so it's getting closer to the eastern parts of McCreary County. So again, we're past 27. We're south of 104. We're right along Highway 700 here. It's going to cross 700 if it hasn't already. But this is the area of most concern right now. New scan should give us an idea. It's tightening back up again. It was kind of cycling back, and now it's cycling forward again. So we're just going to continue to watch this. If this holds together, you see back over here, we're in Whitley County now. Cleo, you'll be in the path of this. Redbird will be in the path of this. So again, we're just kind of keeping an eye. More Cleo than Redbird, but anywhere inside this polygon has a chance of seeing this. But this is getting ready. Right here, I believe, is the McCreary-Whitley County line.
Yes.
So this will cross into Whitley County here, especially moving at 80 miles per hour, probably the next scan or two. So you folks in western, southern Whitley County need to be in your tornado safe spots.
And again, like we were talking about, radar is showing you snapshots in time. Mm-hmm. Between 2, 3, 4, and 5 minutes, and see, it's already
cycled
back down a little bit. So these radar scans are coming in as fast as they can, but this storm is moving 80 miles per hour.
Yeah.
So a lot can happen in the time between radar scans. So that's why we say the tornado spin-up threat is low, but it's never zero,
Exactly.
and they can pop up so fast.
Right.
And drop a tornado and lift right back up.
And we know, not to interrupt you, Evan, we know you've been watching the coverage of those massive tornadoes out to the west in parts of Arkansas and Tennessee and other places like that, Mississippi, other sections of the country. That's not what we see here. 9 times out of 10. Now, we had a couple of long track ones there back in 2012. This is not 2012. Anything we get tonight or in the near future is going to be quick. They're going to be spin-ups. They may touch down fast, do a little bit of damage, and then lift back up. That's why we see those cycling there and between each scan. So we're watching that. It has now crossed 700. Cleo, 336, Walden, all these are in Whitley County now. 340, Corbin. Right now, you got 343 to get into your safe spot. But again, this storm is moving pretty fast, so you need to be there now. Don't wait. Get in your safe spot right now. Basement, downstairs, under something sturdy, lowest floor of your house. If you live in a trailer or mobile home, find somewhere to go. You don't have much time to do that, but just even if you have to go outside and lay down in a ditch, because that's the best case scenario if you don't have anywhere you can get to quickly, like a neighbor's house or something like that. This storm is moving fast, 80 miles per hour forward speed. No confirmed tornado on the ground, but you see there, we're tracking that velocity couplet. If it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be in that area just past basically 700, Highway 700, coming up on the Whitley County line. And I would say by the next scan that comes in, it'll be in Whitley County.
That's true, Brandon, and I'm looking off screen here at the correlation coefficient. There's the next scan.
Right. We caught that one right there. So it's now into parts of southwestern Whitley County. What's the correlation coefficient trying to show?
Not much.
Okay.
That's the good news.
That's great news because that means it's not touched down, or at least it's not currently on the ground.
That's true, but I want to caution this as well. The correlation coefficient and that's basically telling us how the different shapes are of the particles in the atmosphere, how closely they resemble each other.
Right.
And in this case, they closely resemble each other, which means it's likely rain.
Right.
Maybe a little bit of small hail, but that would likely melt as it reaches the ground. But at the same time, okay, I'm looking at this from the Morristown radar further south. That is about 70, 80 miles away, and we're talking several thousand feet up. And sometimes when these spin-up tornadoes happen, they may not loft debris that high.
Right.
So I can't say for sure that we don't have something there, but, scientific method of elimination.
Right.
There's nothing that says to us, oh, we've had something.
Right.
But the indication is still there.
Exactly. And the Weather Service confident enough in this to let this continue to go until 3:45. Run through the counties that this impacts once again for us.
So this is still in effect for, I'm going to back up, just kind of get them all in here. Northern Whitley, northern McCreary, but the storm is now pushed past you. So Whitley City, the threat has passed you with this particular storm. Far southern Laurel, this does not include London or East Bernstadt, basically only includes Corbin, the Corbin part of Laurel County.
And then I think Bush
the rest of the city.
I think Bush showed up earlier. That's in Laurel County too.
Yes, it's south of there, and then into western Knox County. So that does not include Barberville, but it's kind of headed in that direction if it holds together. So most of this is in Whitley County. There's the latest scan, and it's still pretty broad, which is good at this point, as that nears 25W and Interstate 75 there north of Williamsburg.
So if you know anybody that's traveling along, I know it's late night, we're 3:30 in the morning on a Saturday morning, but if you know anybody that is traveling between Corbin and Williamsburg on I-75, tell them to pull over. Tell them to get off the road. Tell them to find shelter because this is a serious situation. Back out toward 25W, Cumberland Falls Parkway. If you know anybody traveling that road, call them. Tell them to get off the road, find shelter. Cleo, 336, coming right at you. 337 rather for Walden. So that's pretty quick there. Again, this is moving at 80 miles per hour. So fast-moving storm Faber. Back out toward 339 if it holds together. We're talking about Gray over in Knox County at 345 and Swan Lake over there at 347. So again, Williamsburg not really being impacted. It's still south of Corbin based on this latest track and where we're seeing the velocity showing up on the scans. So thankfully more of a rural area, but we don't want to downplay the fact that people still live in these areas. So we want to make sure that you're staying safe, and it's kind of the middle of the night, actually early in the morning, however you look at it. But regardless, hopefully you're awake and you're getting these warnings, and hopefully that you're taking heed and getting into your safe spots as fast as you can.
And not only that, Brandon, this is a fairly rural area of northern Whitley County, but this is a rather heavily traveled interstate. Even at this hour, there may not be as many cars on Interstate 75, but we still have people traveling. Right. Spring break, in and out right now. Some folks may be just getting off spring break. Some folks may be headed on spring break and may be traveling. And that's why Interstate 75 is our focus right now, north of Williamsburg. So Williamsburg, Redbird. This is going to go north of you, and it's tightened up a little bit again.
It's recycled there again. So just south of Youngs Creek, right there in Whitley County, and we'll go a little bit closer. So again, we're continuing to see this cycle up and down. So back into the upcycled mode there. So just south of Youngs Creek, approaching the Cumberland Falls Parkway. That's 25W. It loops back up around, goes back toward the backside of Corbin there, but we're not there yet. So we're looking again at he's drawing the arrows on there, what the radar is seeing. This is the Morristown radar. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's showing that velocity showing up there. Switch to Jackson real quick since we're getting a little bit closer to see if we can get any better look. Okay, so the Jackson radar actually
I don't think it did that. I think that was a scan.
Okay, so the scan updated. Okay.
So this is Jackson. And Jackson's we're farther away, so we're seeing a lot of wind turbulence.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go back to Morristown, and right here, now we'll take those arrows out. There we go. And recircle right here. So this is basically...
Nope, that's the wrong tool.
We're basically crossing, it's 1193 up there, getting close to that there on the southern end as it dumps out.
Yeah, it's where 1193 meets the Cumberland Gap Parkway there.
So right there is the area that we're watching very closely. Walden, along just kind of the west of I-75, safe spot right now. It's coming towards you real quick. 75, if you're in that section of 75 between 25W on both ends there where it circles back around. So basically between the northern end of I-75 at the Cumberland Gap Parkway and the southern end, which is just north of Williamsburg. I believe there's an exit for that down there. Cumberland Falls exit, if I'm right. Again, if you're between those areas, you need to get to a safe spot right now. If you know anybody traveling between Corbin and Williamsburg on I-75, get them off the road. Get them into a safe spot right now because this tornado warning is still a potential there, especially out here. It's basically to the east of Youngs Creek, and we're going to continue to watch that travel in that direction. Did they just update that?
Yeah, they're updating the polygon here. Okay. Still goes till 3:45. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Bertha Station, 7 miles northwest of Barberville, moving east at 80 miles an hour. So this warning continues. They've taken McCreary County out of it. So the McCreary County folks, you're out of this.
Read that again because I want to make sure you got the city right.
Bertha Station.
Right, but you mentioned Barberville.
Yes. Correct.
Yeah.
That's not correct. I think that's
Barberville is not in the polygon. So
that is correct.
We want to make sure that unless there's another Barberville in Whitley County. So this is in Whitley County, okay? Quickly approaching 75. Let's zoom in right here close and see if we can see some more of those smaller communities, because we want to highlight those as best as we can. So there's Walden. There's Faber off in the distance. We don't have a whole lot out here right now. Here's Youngs Creek back here. So again,
trying to get it there. We're in so much that the terrain of the surface of the map
very
is
rural parts of Whitley County. This is in northern Whitley County. It's north of Williamsburg, south of Corbin. But the main concern here, as Evan said earlier, is 75. If you know anybody traveling 75 between the South Corbin exit there on the Cumberland Falls Parkway.
Hang on. There we go.
Okay. So this is actually updated just again, looks like.
Yeah, that should be Morristown.
Okay, so it's basically, it looks like the area of concern now is getting ready to cross Cumberland Falls Parkway right here. It's still just south of it, but you can kind of see there where the reds and greens are, and he's going to put a track on it to kind of give us an idea. Now, Barberville, I'm not going to put you completely out of this just yet, but if it continues to track this way, I think it's going to miss most of the populated areas. Again, the key word in that sentence is think, because it could still shift a little bit. 80-mile-per-hour track, so Faber, you've got just a couple minutes to get into your safe spot if you're not there already. Gray over into Knox County, you got about 6 minutes, about 8 minutes to get in your safe spot. 346, 348, Emmanuel, Tuttle at 350, Cannon at 351, and Girdler at 352. So again, this is basically in that cone of where this is supposed to, or could go there. But right now, Faber and I-75 are main areas of concern as this continues to stay just south of the Cumberland Falls Parkway.
That's right, Brandon. I got some folks I've got on Facebook here, folks asking about Jackson and Hazard.
If we're not talking about you right now, you're not in danger. Okay, that's what I'm going to say about it. If we're not talking about your area, you're not under a warning. Strong winds are still possible. We're focused on Whitley County right now. This is the way it has to be. I know you are concerned about your areas. Storms are still coming. Okay, storms are still coming, but this is the area of most concern right now. So this is why we're staying down here. When we get ready, if this tornado warning does expire.
There's some thunder here
in Hazard. If it does expire at 3:45, or they don't move it, or when they moved it, did they change the end time, or did they keep it at 3:45?
That just stayed put. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got another about a little less than 6 minutes on that. If they do allow this to expire before we go off the air, we'll take a wide look, kind of give you a broad perspective of all the areas. But right here is the area of most concern. Here's the thing: if that holds together, I would not be surprised to extend this tornado warning a little further.
That's true, and they've given us no indication yet that that's
right
on the way. This has been cycling, so it's cycled down a little bit. It's a little broad, but the rotation's there as it's getting ready to cross the interstate south of Corbin.
So basically, zoom in right here as close as you can to 75, because I want to try to see if we can. I know it's not going to show exits, but here is the South Corbin exit right here, okay? There's 5th Street coming back down toward South Corbin. So this is the area where the arena is. Crossing 75 right now, the broad rotation. So if you're near the Corbin Arena and south, back down 26 there toward Faber, 75 basically going down just southwest of Faber there. Not quite to the North Williamsburg Cumberland Falls exit, but right here is basically the Corbin exit going on to the Cumberland Falls Parkway. So if you're in basically the southern parts of Corbin, far south parts of Corbin, northern Whitley County, you need to be in your safe spot right now. This is going to continue. It will cross 26 in the next few minutes there, probably with the next scan, but it is crossing I-75 right now. We're going to continue to watch that. Now, I do believe it could clip parts of Corbin to the south if it stays on this current track. So again, this is something we're going to have to watch. This is basically Metro Corbin right here. But again, it could clip parts of South Corbin there, especially if you're toward the Knox County side there on 25E. Of course, this is something we're watching. This is about to cross into Knox County, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're right there. This is basically the Knox-Whitley County line. So this is getting ready to cross into Knox County there. And again, it's crossing 75 at the moment near the Corbin Arena, just south of the Corbin Arena exit there in South Corbin. But again, 26 is coming up on you. So if you live around or along Highway 26, basically south of the interstate, going down near the Knox-Whitley County line, get into your safe spot right now.
And again, I want to point out, I'm looking at the potential debris signatures off screen. There is nothing that would tell me that we've had a touchdown at this point.
Exactly. That's great news, because storms like this in the middle of the night always make people more nervous, and we understand that. That's why we're trying to do our best to kind of give you the best information we have at the time. So again, this is the area of concern. We do not have any confirmed reports of touchdown. Great news, especially. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen. It could have happened between scans really quickly and then lifted back up. So if you have damage, if you're seeing damage, please try to get those reports into us and the Weather Service as soon as possible. Okay? So, all right, new scan just come in. It's getting a little bit more broad, still there, but it's coming across Highway 26 at this point, it looks like.
That's right. So I'm going to put a track on this again. And folks, this is moving east at 80 miles per hour. Okay? This is faster than highway speeds. As a matter of fact, legal highway speeds in any case. Out 20 miles. This is about 15 minutes of motion. Gray by within about 4 minutes or so. Emmanuel within the next 6 minutes. Cannon 352. Girdler by 353, Sproul by 355, and Woolham, if it holds together there, that's as you push toward Knox County, or into Clay County, excuse me, I believe, just looking at the lines on the map
pretty
there.
Close, yeah. It's probably going from the Knox-Clay County line right there on 11, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right there, and that's within the next 20 minutes.
If it holds together.
And that's a big if.
Right.
Because this storm is moving into an area that is not as favorable for severe thunderstorm development at this point. And we'll see what happens with the warning here. They may decide to go with a tornado possible tag, as that is on top of 26 right now, about to cross out of Whitley County. They may go back to a severe thunderstorm warning scenario for this, or even just a special weather statement if we don't see anything that may lead them to continue this warning. And it's all of these storms are moving very, very fast, 80 miles per hour.
So I think for the most part, based on these scans here, I think Corbin proper will avoid this storm. Okay?
Yeah, I think that's going south of downtown there.
You still need to be in your safe spot until we give you the all clear, okay? But again, I think most of Corbin will miss this storm. New scan, so it's crossed over in Knox County. It's across the Knox County line there. What is this road right here?
Let me see if I can pop that. I'll zoom in here. That is going to be 3041.
All right, so 3041 here, south of Moore Hill. There's First United Methodist Church over there in the southern parts of Corbin. So it's crossed Interstate 75. It's crossed Highway 26. Just south there, the area of most intense rotation. This is cycling. I don't think that they'll let this warning completely go. I believe Evan's right. They may switch it back over to a severe thunderstorm with a tornado possible tag. Still Morristown's radar?
Yes. And the look here, I can switch to Jackson's radar. The warning polygon has gone away.
Okay.
Because the warning, we hit 345 and the warning's allowed to expire, but there's still a little
bit there.
And this is looking a little bit closer of a look here, so it wouldn't shock me that scan's a little different, that we may be seeing still a little bit of rotation there.
Kind of right here is the area that we're still watching.
Yes, right they're in western parts of Knox County.
So this is not Barberville proper. This is kind of a more rural area. Barberville's down here.
And there's a new tornado warning.
A new tornado.
Tornado watch does continue in effect for this area, though, until 7. But we only have that one line, and now the new tornado warning coming in from the National Weather Service. That is a new tornado warning. And let's highlight where this is now. Let's get this on. That is for Knox County. It is for far southeastern parts of Laurel County and into southern sections of Clay County with that tornado warning that is now out. That is just to the north of Barberville. That is heading over toward southern Clay County. And the timeline on this is going to take it until 4:15. So that has now been expanded a little deeper into the morning, even though the rotation isn't as strong. So let's go through, and we are going to reset everything so we can track this with the best of them. And you guys can see what we're looking at as we make the map. So there's your tornado warning. That storm is now to the northeast or just to the east of Corbin, and it is rolling its way to the northeast very quickly. Again, the forward speed on that is roughly 80 miles per hour. So we'll look inside the storm. And even the rotation that was showing up there continues to show up weaker and weaker, thank goodness, into the northwestern tip of Knox County. But the National Weather Service extending that out of just pure precaution at this point for that tornado warning to go until 4:15 now. That includes the Ashers Fork area of southern Clay County. That would be the far eastward extent of this particular tornado warning. And let me broaden this out to show you, and we'll go in and inspect it. I mean, here we are at 4 o'clock in the morning. We really don't have any programming at this point anyway, so you guys are stuck with me for a little while longer. And again, that storm is a shell of its former self. If we get that tornado warning that continues until 4:15, I'll be surprised at this point, unless that thing can somehow ramp back up all of a sudden in the next few minutes. But the spin with that has greatly diminished, so that is certainly some welcome news. But I do want to go to Corbin. We got that traffic cam right on top of the interstate down there. Let's see what things are looking like with that. You can see the heavy rain that is coming through there, likely getting it on those gusty winds as well. And those winds are going to be strong and upwards of 40 and 50 miles an hour, even outside of that tornado warning. But again, Corbin, we're in the clear. That thing is off to our east and southeast now into the northwestern part of Knox County. So Corbin, again, you got a lot of heavy rain. Sirens hopefully are turning off right now, but they may stay on because that is the far southeastern tip of Laurel County, still under that particular tornado warning that is out. All right. So with the forward extension of that, let's reset it and let's get after it. All right, northern Knox County. You need to be in your storm shelter. Be on the safe side with this. Even though the rotation is weaker, let's go ahead and hit our safe spots. Let's hit our interior room. The tornado sirens are going off here into Knox County and into southern parts of Clay County now. So let's hit those safe spots. The basement, that's where you want to be. You don't have a basement, it's the interior room, the interior hallway, a bathroom, a closet. We're going to protect our head above all else. And that tornado watch is out for that particular area until 7 this morning. There's your line of strong and severe thunderstorms across eastern Kentucky. It's more strong than severe. So the precautionary tornado warning continues in effect here into the northern part of Knox County. This goes until 4:15, gets into a very small part of southeastern Laurel County. Manchester, we're not included in this tornado warning. This is on the southern part of the county, so northern Knox County and southern parts of Clay County. Ashers Fork, we are included in this. Manchester, we are not. Barberville, it is right on top of the north side of the city. Corbin, the storm is now off to the east of us. So we'll look at this and, oh yeah, that rotation has really, really, really gone away. And so, I mean, we're almost seeing this with almost no rotation at this point. You can see how you've got the winds that are gusting up right here. There's a bit of a shift in those winds, but we're losing the spin. You're not getting that circulation anymore. And this storm was weakening as it made its way across the northern part of Whitley County. We were showing you that, and that weakening trend just continues now. So you look at this line, there's really nothing that is spinning with this anymore. Good news there. So a precautionary tornado warning. So you can see where that little stripe of green is located. Well, that's where winds are likely gusting up to 50 miles an hour, if not a little greater, but we are not seeing that spin any longer with this storm. We had it in this part of the storm right here, but that started to become broad, and now it is really just fanned out. So this is more than likely producing some pretty good winds It sounds the part because it's got those gusty winds with it, and it is also producing some gusts that may be up to 40 or 50 miles an hour. It's a potent little thunderstorm here into northern parts of Clay County, right on top of the Owsley County line. It's heading toward Buckhorn with a lot of thunder and lightning. But again, most of these storms into eastern Kentucky now, they sound big and bad. They're not really big and bad, though. They're not packing a ton of destructive winds or anything like that. But they have a lot of thunder and lightning. So they, again, look the part. They act the part a little bit in terms of how they sound. But they're not doing a whole lot of damage. But look at the lightning from around Huntington, West Virginia, Parkersburg, West Virginia, right on through eastern Kentucky, toward Corbin, toward Barberville, toward Manchester, and down into Tennessee, where we just have severe thunderstorm warnings that are essentially in effect across the southeastern corner of Tennessee. So if you're watching us now into northern Knox County, again, we just had that tornado warning extended, I should say, until 4:15. So you got about roughly 20 minutes or so on that one. I don't know that it's going to see the expiration time because it's losing the structure with the storm. But hey, listen, let's hit those safe shelters. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Let's just be safe, right? Better safe than sorry. So we're going to get to the basement. If you don't have a basement, interior room on the lowest floor that is possible. And I put the exclamation point on this one. Protect your head. Most injuries from high winds, tornadoes, occur when debris is flying around and hits you in the head. So if we protect our head, just cover our head. If you got an old bicycle helmet, got a new bicycle helmet, use that. If you got a batting helmet, a football helmet, maybe Dad's old hard hat, put that one on. That will go a long way toward offering you some protection. And where are we going to go in our home? Well, if we're in a mobile home, we don't want to be there. We want to be out of that ASAP because we want a sturdy structure, and the interior room of a closet is where we want to be. That is the area where you definitely want to be. The hallway, put as many walls between yourself and the outside as is possible. If you can get below ground in a basement, hey, go ahead and camp out there for the next 15, 20 minutes or so until we can sound the all clear. And you guys can come out and everything will be hunky-dory. That's the only warning that continues in effect for the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky. That is that tornado warning that is out into Knox County, into extreme southeastern parts of Laurel County, and a part of southern Clay County as well. So the radar image with this, it's more of a linear storm. There's your warning until 4:15. We are right now at around at 3:54, 3:55. So you got 20 more minutes of that particular warning. But as we go in and inspect this storm, I'm going to look inside it again, and you're just not seeing very much, if any, rotation. And what we were seeing with that a little bit ago was much stronger when it crossed out of Wayne County into McCreary County and certainly into the western part of Whitley County. But I'm not getting any reports of any kind of damage. I'm not getting any reports of sightings. And I'm looking over social media. I am looking through everything else and seeing what all is going on in terms of the severe weather coverage. And I'm just not. I'm not seeing any reports right now. So that is certainly welcome news. And we'll check through the chat room with the National Weather Service where we can kind of communicate with the Weather Service privately, and they're sending out information. And you've got emergency management officials that are in that as well. And I'm also going to check, see what the peak wind gusts have been down there. The highest I can find is a 45 mile per hour gust. That was in Pulaski County as that storm made its way on through. There's a Kentucky Mesonet site down in McCreary County, which would have been right in the line of this storm, and it only recorded the peak wind gust at 32 miles an hour. So far, so good with any kind of reports coming out of southern Kentucky of any possible tornado or anything like that. Again, this was more of a precautionary when the Weather Service extended that deeper into Knox County and into southern parts of Clay County. And you're just not seeing a lot of rotation with this, and nobody is going to complain about that. I just broadened this out a little bit, and you could see the structure on that storm has improved dramatically. It's losing some of the lightning, which is always a telltale sign of a weakening storm. When it starts to lose a little lightning, that storm back to the southwest of that is pulsed up just a little bit. And again, when you see the crosshairs that we pull out like this for you guys, what we can do is we can look within the typical radar view, which shows precipitation, which shows the intensity of rain or storms, and then we can look at the winds inside that storm. And you notice here what we are dealing with are winds that wouldn't suggest any kind of spin or rotation at this point. Earlier, you were seeing that spin and rotation. And even when it was at its strongest in terms of that rotation, we still haven't had any reports from that. So here into Barbourville and northern parts of Knox County is where the worst of the storm is currently located. But if I'm just looking at the radar picture as of now, I mean, you look at this, would you be able to pick out exactly where the worst of this storm is? I mean, it would be more toward the northern side of this now because it's becoming linear from southwest to northeast. So it's morphing into that little line that actually goes from Buckhorn into northwestern parts of Perry County back toward the southwest, toward Girdler and Barbourville. And that would be right on top of Highway 11 there, coming out of northern parts of Knox County and into Clay County. Manchester connects Manchester with Girdler and Barbourville, and you're not seeing a whole lot with that now. And I'm looking inside of it, and even there, even though we're not seeing the rotation, I'm not seeing a whole lot of what would suggest high winds with this. So yeah, you're probably getting some 40 and 50 mile per hour gusts with this as it makes its way across northern parts of Knox County. But that wouldn't be anything that would cause a lot of damage in itself with that. But that tornado warning does continue for about 15 more minutes or so until 4:15. And obviously, while that warning is rocking and rolling, we're going to keep it right here for you guys. Anytime there's a tornado warning, people always say, well, that's not where I live. I don't care. I want to get back to my programming, Survivor, what have you. Well, guess what? One day it will be where you live, and you will want us to be on walking you through it, just like the people of Knox County and Clay County are wanting to see us walking them through this right now, giving them constant updates. So, and anytime we cover about 40 different counties that call WKYT their home TV station, 40 to 50. And you know what? We take care of all of them. It's not just in my backyard. My job is to take care of everybody's backyard, and we're going to do it to the best of our ability. Some days it's a little easier than others. So your tornado warning until 4:15 here into northern parts of Knox County, over into southern sections from Big Creek there into Clay County toward Asher's Fork and Girdler. And again, that is rolling its way to the northeast. The Hammond area, that is in far northeastern parts of Knox County. And then you get over into Lincoln, the Plank area, the Bright Side, and Asher's Fork here, just to the south of downtown Manchester toward Blue Hole and, again, Highway 11. These are areas that, you know, we don't get a whole lot of tornado warnings across the mountains. The mountains do not protect you from tornadoes. That much we know. We've learned that the hard way through the years, obviously. It was never a true statement, but a lot of folks obviously bought into it and believed it through the years. But contrary to popular belief, no, the mountains do not protect you from tornadoes. We've had tornadoes touch down in the Rockies at elevation 4,000 or 5,000 feet before. So it's a false sense of security. And, you know, for folks who had down here who lived through March 2nd of 2012, boy, we know all about what tornadoes in the mountains can do. So we take every tornado warning seriously, but not all tornado warnings are created equal. The one that we're looking at now is more of a precautionary measure. It's not a confirmed tornado. It is more of hey, this storm had some rotation a little bit ago, and we're going to keep this tornado warning going just as a precaution, and that goes until 4:15 into Clay County, small part of Laurel County, and into Knox County as well. That storm is rolling its way to the northeast very, very quickly, and it's going to continue to roll its way to the northeast. So folks into Hayden, you know, you're looking to your west and you're thinking, oh gosh, this tornado warning is now to the Leslie County. It's almost into Leslie County. Hang in there, because the storm has weakened considerably. And to prove that, let's go ahead and take a look at it. We'll give it, as I like to call it, an MRI or a quick X-ray. So now you're just seeing this producing straight winds. And there's little to no rotation left in this storm. And the Weather Service down in Jackson, you know, we don't issue warnings. We get yelled at a lot because we're cutting in for tornado warnings or, you know, high-end severe thunderstorm warnings, flash flood warnings, what have you. But the warnings, we don't issue those. Those come from the National Weather Service offices. And for our coverage area, we have 4 different offices, actually. We got the National Weather Service in Louisville, National Weather Service down in Jackson, in southeastern Kentucky, National Weather Service Wilmington, Ohio, covers northern Kentucky, and then northeastern Kentucky. We've got 4 counties up there that are covered by the National Weather Service in Charleston, West Virginia. So we got 4 different Weather Service offices that are covering the WKYT viewing area, and that can sometimes make for a bit of a dilemma. But boy, you look at this line of thunderstorms. And let me loop this for you. And this is a 2-hour radar loop. All right, so you can see how the lightning is kind of going away here. So we're losing the lightning, which is a telltale sign of a weakening storm. Yeah, that's what we want to hear. And we'll continue to see that progressing its way to the east. So, hey, if you're watching us right now into Laurel County, Whitley County, we've been hearing those sirens for a while, haven't we? Yeah, we got the all clear now. You're still getting on some thunder and lightning, some heavy rain, but there's no tornado warning. The tornado warning continues just to the north of Barberville. If you're in Corbin, we're okay. Barberville, I think we're okay now. The worst of that is to the northeast of us, where you may be getting some higher winds into southern parts of Clay County and across northeastern parts of Knox County. This is heading toward Asher's Fork. And again, there's very little rotation, if any, left in this. So you see that almost straight line of some green in there. You like to see that, because that means that all the winds are just going straight now. There's nothing that would be spinning within this. So that is more of a straight line wind event that is working its way toward southern parts of Clay County. London, we're okay. Let's take a little trip to the north and northeast. We see those storms around Buckhorn, Campton, Salyersville, up into southern parts of Morgan County. Strong thunderstorms. Again, these have much more, they're loud. They're barking, they're just not biting. And that's how we like it. This storm, this cluster of storms was always expected to be weaker into eastern Kentucky, and that is the case outside of that southern edge of that. Look at all the lightning down in Tennessee. That's where they've got numerous counties that are under severe thunderstorm warnings. We had a host of counties across southern into Tennessee that were under the severe thunderstorm warnings a little bit ago. And you had all kinds of tornado warnings back around Nashville, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Possible tornado there. We had several tornado warnings a little earlier into central Kentucky. Had a tornado warning that was up into Cynthiana, Harrison County. That was 2 hours ago. That thing is long gone into Campbellsville. The good news about all of this is that we have not had any reports of damage anywhere where we've had those tornado warnings. Now, the bad news about this, and Bailey with the bad news here, right, is that tomorrow, yet we're not dealing with severe thunderstorms, but we are going to be dealing with high winds. We may have some wind damage tomorrow. The sun is going to come out. You may have gusts tomorrow, 50 to 60 miles an hour across central and eastern Kentucky. We have been through that a couple of times already, haven't we? Okay, more than a couple times. We've been through that a lot. And this shouldn't be anything like what happened on March 3rd. Shouldn't be anything close to that. But we are going to see the winds tomorrow that can reach 50 and 60 miles an hour. We had that happen last Saturday across eastern Kentucky. Had a lot of wind damage and a lot of power outages. And I think tomorrow we'll see some power outages again across the eastern half of the state, and that is indeed where the strongest winds tomorrow are going to be. Those will be non-thunderstorm winds. And this is, I should say tomorrow, this is later today. We are tomorrow. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. So we're already into Saturday, and those gusts today, later today, late morning into the afternoon, may reach 50-plus miles an hour. And we look back at March, which wrapped up, I guess, appropriately with severe weather and high winds on the final day of the month. It came in like a lion and went out like a lion. There was no lamb to be had in the month of March across Kentucky. So this was, by all accounts, the windiest month in recorded history for Kentucky, and certainly in Lexington. We had constant wind gusts, and we peaked at 79 miles per hour in Lexington back on March 3rd, which is the highest non-tornado wind gust ever recorded in Lexington. And back in the 1940s, we had a weak tornado that hit out near Keeneland in the 1940s that produced a wind gust, I believe, at 85 miles an hour, which is the official highest in Lexington. Speaking of, there's your tornado warning that has just a few more minutes left on this. We're down to 8 minutes with this, and the storm has weakened considerably, which is welcome news there. It's losing the lightning, it's losing the overall structure, and that line of storms. Now you can see how we're essentially just tracking a linear band of some gusty winds, and that's what you want to see. You don't want to see those tightly wound colors of contrasting colors side by side. But nonetheless, the Weather Service keeping this tornado warning going for just a few more minutes. I would imagine, I would hope, that is allowed to expire coming up at 4:15. And we look downstream on this particular storm, too, and that would be heading into Hyden, into the Leslie County area. Well, now we've got a new tornado warning that has been expanded. That goes for southern parts of, goes into Leslie County, goes into southern parts of Perry County, and into Letcher County. So we're getting that expanded farther to the east, and the Weather Service is, man, they're being very cautious tonight by keeping this tornado warning going. This is going to go until 4:45 now for Clay County, Leslie County, Letcher County, and into Perry County, southern parts of Perry County. So there is your brand new tornado warning that is out, that has been extended farther to the east. Again, but this whole line has weakened considerably, and we so far so good in terms of any damage reports. So we're going to go through here. I'm going to clear out a lot of what we had been showing you, and we're going to move everything a little farther to the east, so you folks get to see how the sausage is made here, as the old expression goes. Okay, so there you go with the tornado warning that is expiring coming up in a few minutes for Clay County and into sections of Knox County, and that newly issued tornado warning that is going to take us until 4:45 for a very small part of Clay County into Leslie, Letcher, and the southern half of Perry County. So that's what we are dealing with as of right now. So we'll stop this, we'll go inside, and we will look to see exactly what is showing up on this radar image. And again, there's very little rotation with this, but let's go ahead and hit our safe shelters. Our safe spots to be on the safe side here. So sirens are going off into Leslie County. They're going to be going off into the southern part of Perry County and into areas west of Whitesburg into Letcher County. But again, what we're dealing with here, we've had no reports of a tornado. We've had no reports of any kind of damage. And we are seeing that becoming more linear. You're not really seeing much in the way of rotation with that storm, as it's more of a line of just strong thunderstorms right now. But that tornado warning, Weather Service deciding to be uber uber cautious as of right now in putting that warning farther downstream. So again, Perry County, Leslie County, over into the Letcher County area, hang tight with us, okay? Because this warning is going to continue for a half hour or so, and that's going to it's going to activate your phones right now. So if you're watching us into Hazard, if you're watching us into Hyden, your phones are waking you up. So the alarms are going off, and you're thinking, okay, what am I waking up to? So here's the situation. You've got a tornado warning that is out for areas south of Hyden, south of Hazard, and to the west of Whitesburg. It is a small sliver of real estate that is included in this particular tornado warning. We've had a tornado warning going for a little more than an hour now. We've had no reports of tornadoes. We continue to track this storm, though, farther to the east, and you've got a tornado warning out of an abundance of caution from the National Weather Service in Jackson. So that's what we're waking up to. Hang right here. As long as there's a tornado warning, I'm going to be right here to walk you guys through this. And we're not going to leave anybody hanging. We never have. We never will. And it doesn't matter which corner of the state you're in. Our job is to take care of you folks. So the Moselle area up toward Hyden is where the greatest possibility of that tornado is. And it's embedded within a line of storms that is continuing to run out of steam the farther east that it gets. And then the farther north, you can see we're really losing that lightning across the northeastern part of the state as of now. So let's set it all up for you. Let's show you exactly what we are dealing with. The tornado warning into Knox County and Clay County is expiring here in just a couple minutes. That's essentially over with because the storm is now east of that. That prompted that new tornado warning to be issued into Leslie County, into southern Perry County, and a small part of Letcher County. Now, that is outside of where the tornado watch is. The tornado watch did not include those counties. And this is a real pet peeve of mine when we issue watches. Watches should be much more expansive, and then you get hyperlocal with the warnings, right? So I never like to see tornado warnings coming without a watch for a particular county. So cast a bigger net with a watch, and then you get specific with the warnings. I mean, who cares if you don't get a tornado warning? We pray we never get a tornado warning out of it, right? But cast that bigger net with a watch. Let's not be stingy with the watches. So here's our storm again that is rolling its way with a possible tornado here into Clay County, Leslie County, Letcher, and Perry. That is just a small part of Clay County. That is now the possible rotation with this would be coming out of Clay County and heading toward Hyden. But you're looking at this. I mean, you guys can see this. This is linear. There really isn't anything that is wrapping up as of now. It doesn't mean it can't pulse back up, I suppose, or can't cycle back through and try to get a little more spin with it. But as of right now, it lost its rotation. It's lost its rotation for the better part of the past 30 minutes, to be honest with you. But this is the part of the cell the Weather Service is watching. And you got to remember, now we're within a really good view. The Weather Service radar in Jackson is right here. So this is just a few miles away. So they got a really good look at this storm. And so do we. We're using that particular radar because we're close to this now. So they're seeing the same thing we're seeing with that line that is working its way. And we broaden that out a little bit because the overall structure of that is now more linear as it rolls its way to the east. But nonetheless, you're jolted out of bed here into Perry County, into Leslie County, and into sections of the Letcher County area west of Whitesburg. Hang in there. We're going to get through this. Promise you guys. All right. So we're watching that storm that continues to pack some high winds, maybe 40, 50 miles an hour, and the outside chance for a quick spin up of a tornado. There's no confirmed tornado. As a matter of fact, we've had that warning going now continuously for well over an hour. And we've haven't received any reports of damage. I checked the chat room with the National Weather Service. I'm not seeing any damage reports. Now, it's night. A lot of folks, there may be some damage. Nobody's seen it. But so far, we're not seeing a whole lot. But the lightning with that is still there. So it may have increased the amount of lightning with it. So we'll continue to watch that as it tracks off to the east. But if you're into Leslie County, you're into southern Perry County and western Letcher County, just do me a solid. Get to that safe shelter right now and protect your head. If you're in a mobile home, you got time to get out of it, go ahead and get out of it quickly. Get to a safer shelter, sturdy structure. Call up a friend, just go knock on their door. They got a home, brick home, just knock on it, say, hey, we got to come in and crash for a few minutes, all right? And then we're going to seek that safe shelter. Here's that line of some stronger thunderstorms to the north of all of this, and then there's a second little line that may have some gusty winds with it from Moorhead to Lexington, and that is rolling its way to the east and southeast very quickly. But you can see how this whole line is not too far away from getting out of the southeastern corner of Kentucky. And look what's coming in behind it. Nothing on radar, but tomorrow's winds or today's winds aren't going to be showing up on radar because they're not coming from thunderstorms. They're coming from a big low pressure that's wrapping up in a tight pressure gradient that may produce winds later today 50 to 60 miles per hour. So if you're watching us right now into Leslie County, into the Perry County area and Letcher County, seek that safe shelter. We're going to get through this. Kiddos, you're waking up right now. You may be scared to death. Hang in there. I promise you, you're going to be okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to take our precautions. So remember, kids, all of the tornado drills that we've done at school over the years. I think we just did one, earlier this month. First week of the month of March, we had Severe Weather Week. We had that tornado safety drill. Remember what you guys did then? That's what we're going to do now. And we're going to listen to the older folks who are with us right now, and we're going to get in that storm shelter. Parents, get them in there and, give them an iPad or whatever, play a game or two on, maybe sing some songs. Keep me turned up here. Get to your safe shelter just so you can hear my voice, and then we'll give you the all clear when it is okay to come on out. So that's what we want from you. And that safe shelter is the interior room of your home. The lowest level is where you want to be. You do not want to be near those outer walls. It's like adding an extra layer of safety. You put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. It's like when you're cold at night, you throw in some extra blankets, right? Well, think of this as an extra blanket to protect you from the winds that are outside. So you get to that interior room. The areas of green there are the places to be. The basement is preferable, but obviously, I know most of us do not have a basement. So we're going to get to that low floor, the lowest floor, and we're going to get to ground level, and we are going to cover our heads above all else. And I always say this, we don't care how silly we look, if we got an old batting helmet, anything like that, a hard hat, you got an old football helmet, and put that one on, because that may end up saving your life at some point. I had an old hard hat here at the station actually a little bit ago, but what I've got, this is the only thing I could find here, an old football helmet, all right? I know, we don't care how goofy we look, it's protecting ourselves. So kids, put a bicycle helmet on. If you got a football helmet, put it on. That'll protect you right there, all right? Your favorite team's helmet. I mean, maybe you got a Joe Burrow signed helmet up there sitting somewhere. Throw it up there. Throw it on for a little bit. I think Joe would be proud of you, because it's all about saving lives. And most folks are injured from flying debris during a tornado or high winds, and obviously it hits you in the head. That's going to cause some issues. So there's our tornado warning. That is going to continue until 4:45, and we're at the 4:20 mark as of right now. So we still got a little bit before we get rid of this latest warning. And by then, that is just about to cross out of Kentucky and into southwestern parts of Virginia. So that tornado warning is for a small area. Interesting to look at to look at this, that a little kink showing up one more time here. So instead of the linear, it's got just at least a small kink that is right on top of the Perry and Leslie County line with that. So you can see where we're talking about, and that is essentially working its way toward the Daisy area of southern parts of Perry County. So we're watching this particular area. Folks in Viper, we're included in this, and that's about to cross into southern parts of Perry County. So if we are getting a little bit of a spin with that or a weak tornado, that's where it would be. So seek those shelters there along the Perry and Leslie County border. Leslie County, that thing is just about through there. It's about to enter into southern parts of Perry County. Now, southern parts of Perry County, obviously, it gets a little thinner down there in terms of the just how much coverage we got in the county. So it would cross out of there fairly quickly and get over toward the Blackie area of western Letcher County. Notice they did not include the southern tip of Knott County with that particular warning. But again, that would be near Viper. And you could see just a little bit of an uptick in the overall lightning with this. But again, we've still had no reports of a tornado with this at all. And we've had that warning going continuously now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're about, 5, 6, 7 counties deep now from where this started back into Wayne County. This started a little over an hour and a half ago right here. And now we've got that storm that it's holding together. It's a shell of what it was doing back here, but it is trying one more little bit of a pulse here as it enters into southern parts of Perry County. So that's the area. If we are to get that quick little spin up, so it would be right in this general vicinity. So all of a sudden now, instead of that full line that we were looking at just a few minutes ago, it's decided it wanted to try and spin a little bit. It's not completely wrapped around, but you can see that little bit of a kink that is showing up in that line. So right on top of the Perry-Leslie County line is where we would be dealing with a possible tornado. So again, here into Perry County, into Leslie County, we're about to sound the all clear for you because that spin is now getting into the southern half of Perry County from Viper to Daisy and then toward the Blackie community there into western sections of Letcher County. This storm is moving to the east at about 70 miles an hour. So it slowed down a little bit compared to what we were dealing with over the course of the 80 mile per hour forward speed on this. So again, little tightening up here south of Hazard now that is making its way into southern sections of Perry County. So it is interesting to note how that decided it wanted to kind of ramp back up just a little bit with that, but I'm still going to check everything and social media and everything like that because we haven't had any kind of reports. Now keep in mind, it is dark. It's, what are we? Oh gosh, almost 4:30 in the morning now. Been a long day. But that possible tornado continues to roll its way through. So that tornado warning continues in effect until 4:45. And the extent of this, you're now seeing that being updated, the tornado warning being updated here. So we'll put the new part of this on, as this is now just a very small part of Leslie County into Letcher and Perry, and that's going to go until 4:45. So they're chopping the back edge of that off as that little bit of a spin does continue to get farther to the east now. So, okay, there's our warning. There's the rotation, and that rotation tightening up ever so just a little bit here in the past 5 minutes or so again. And you can see that little spot of some brighter greens against the reds. Now, it's not completely wrapped up, but it's got a little more spin than what it has had for the past hour. This thing wasn't spinning at all until the past 5 minutes or so, and then it decided to pulse right back up here as it's making its way into the southern part of Perry County. So Hazard we're okay with this. I'm going to watch far southern parts of Knott County, too. This is working its way to the east. Now, that tornado warning doesn't get into Letcher County, doesn't get into Whitesburg, but that possible spin into the southern half of Perry County is going to continue to roll its way toward the Perry, Knott, and Letcher County line. So if we are to get a tornado out of this, it would be right in that area. Hazard, we're north of this. This would be Viper. This would be in the Daisy area. So if you're in those two spots, you need to be in your storm shelter immediately as that continues to spin its way across the southern part of Perry County. That is the only warning across the entire state, and it's been with that same cell that has had some spin with it for a couple of hours. Farther to the north, farther to the west, into central Kentucky, hey, there isn't anything that is going on. Yeah, you got a little rain and some gusty winds, but the overall coverage of the thunderstorms continues to diminish as that cold front makes its way into central Kentucky. So we can look at what we're dealing with here with that current warning that is out. And again, small piece of real estate, but it is a tornado warning that is out for far eastern parts of Leslie County, southern sections of Perry County, and a small sliver of northwestern Letcher County. This does not include the city of Hazard, but it does include the areas of Viper, and it does get into the Daisy community as well of southern parts of Perry County. So for the folks who are awake right now into southeastern Kentucky, and I would imagine it's a lot of folks down there because, you know, being a mountain boy myself, I would imagine that for folks down here who are into Leslie County, into Perry County, and Letcher County, where we've had that tornado warning. Man, you know how it gets when there's the threat of bad weather. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. Right now, your phone is probably ringing off the hook. Everybody's checking on their neighbors, their family. That's how we roll in the 606, how we roll in the 859 and everywhere, for that matter. But we're concentrating on the 606 right now into southeastern Kentucky, where that small little spin is still showing up here into southern parts of Perry County, the Daisy area. And so it's broad, but it is there nonetheless to the south of Hazard. So I got to step off, and because that thing is moving at 70 miles an hour. I'm not talking about the wind speed. I'm talking about the forward speed of this. It is moving at 70 miles per hour, so I have to adjust the radar. And again, the worst of this is trying its very best to get into far southern parts of Knott County, where we do not have a tornado warning. So I'm going to adjust everything farther to the east. That way we can get the best coverage on this, and we can kind of track that spin as it continues to show up. But you look inside that, and the rotation is still pretty broad overall. There's one little spot right here that is just to the east, I believe, of Viper that would be a little concerning. Yeah, there's Viper into Perry County. So, and there's Daisy. So again, that would be the area of some concern here. But you're not seeing that totally wrapping up around. But you're getting enough of a spin on... let's see, that's Route 7. You got 15 there. Viper down to Daisy. If we are to get at least a weak spin up, it would be right here. Here's Vico. Hazard is just to the north of us. So it's fairly broad, but this little area right here on top of Viper, between Viper and Daisy and toward Vico, if we're going to get a weak tornado touchdown or even a funnel cloud, it would be right in there. You can see that sweep goes through and it broadens it out a little bit, but there's almost just a little bit of a weak spin south of Viper on that image. So I would imagine you may get the Weather Service to throw southern Knott County in that. So if you're into far southern Knott County toward the Red Fox area, yeah, you may want to go ahead and just do me a solid and hit that storm shelter just to be on the safe side with that, because that is a little too close for comfort. There's the Blackie community into western sections of Letcher County. It's Highway 7 And that would be the area where you need to be seeking shelter. So if you got some friends, you got some family down there into southern Perry County, give them a call, give them a check on a status check right now, especially if they're at Viper, over toward Vico or down into Daisy. And if you got some relatives into far southern, south of 15, far southern parts of Knott County there, give them a call, say, hey, Bailey said get to your shelter just to be safe. And likewise here into far northwestern parts of Letcher County, where that tornado warning is out for another 14 minutes. So we're at 4:31. This warning is set to expire coming up in a matter of minutes. So this storm has had a history of just kind of cycling through just a little bit. Still zero reports of any tornado touchdowns. And there is your small sliver of what is left of our tornado warning that will go until 4:45. I'm going to check on, still don't have any social media reports into the National Weather Service in Jackson. Not seeing any kind of hard evidence that there's been a tornado, which we've had no reports of that. This is more of a radar indicated. Severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado as of 4:24, so that was 7 minutes ago. It was over the Slimp area, or 10 miles south of Hazard, moving east at 70 miles per hour. So this storm, over the past little bit, tried to uptick a little bit, and now it appears to be trying to cycle right back down. But that spin is crossing out of Perry County into far southern sections of Knott County between Hindman, Hazard, and Whitesburg. And it's broader now. It had tried its very best to tighten up for a hot minute, but there's your broad rotation. That's Knott County, Perry County, Letcher County. There you go with the line from Knott County into Perry and into Letcher County. So that is a broad spin, but it is still there nonetheless. It is heading to the east at, just 70 miles an hour. Now, if that can hold together, it may impact the extreme southern Floyd and Pike counties, but more than likely that would just take off shooting across 23 and 119 and head into southwestern parts of Virginia, and likely losing some more steam as it does so. Current warnings that are out across Kentucky. That is it, my friends. That is your red polygon across the southeast. That's your tornado warning that is out for Perry County, a small sliver of Leslie County. Leslie County, we're okay. That's past us now, and into a small part into western and northwestern parts of Letcher County. That is where the tornado warning is still active. So we're going to look inside the storm, and we're watching the winds. So for folks who aren't familiar with what we're looking at here, what you see outside of the crosshairs, this is just your typical radar, all right? So where I put the crosshairs, we could say, okay, within this spot, show me the winds inside this thunderstorm, and we can color code the winds based on the direction that they're going. So the green showing winds that are going in one direction.
Prestonsburg.
But it doesn't include Hindman.
Doesn't include Hindman.
No, it does. It does include Hindman, right?
No, it does not.
Where's the? Oh, it's okay. It's,
yeah,
okay.
The polygon. This
Sorry,
is the
polygon overlap. I got you.
Oh,
now. Yeah.
wow, that can't draw.
Yeah, I got you now. But that does include Colson, close to where I live. So there you go. So this is basically right here.
In fact, we'll highlight it here, and there it is. Southern Knott County, northern Letcher, very far southern Floyd. I mean, very far southern Floyd. So that doesn't even include McDowell.
You're right. So let me clarify. That does not include Hindman, okay? Does not include Prestonsburg, does not include McDowell, which is a more populated area. Does include Weeksbury, though, right there in southern Floyd County. That's until 5 o'clock. So we're going up to what would normally be morning news time during the weekdays. So we're going to continue to carry this live until 5 o'clock. So just stay with us there and bear with us. But again, this is going through areas that are not as populated, but I do see Jenkins is included in this polygon, isn't it?
Yes, very close to Jenkins and southern Pike County. We didn't get to get to that part.
So basically, 119 will be one of the next major roads it crosses. Of course, this will be going over 15 at some point.
So let's zoom into it. This is now moving east at 60, by the way.
So it's slowing down.
It's slowing down a little bit as we're starting to run out of the better. Steering with this, but that's headed toward Colson over the next few minutes, which is in far northern parts of there in Letcher County.
Yeah, so that's pretty close. I live basically just south of Colson, and we're kind of watching this area right here to see if there's any possible rotation right there. Matter of fact, Evan, I'm going to let you take it for a minute. I'm going to go text my wife.
Okay. And we were talking just a few minutes ago about the tornado warnings in parts of, or the severe thunderstorm warnings in parts of Tennessee, Campbell County. That was a tornado possible, and now there is a tornado warning there west of Knoxville. In fact, includes Knox County, Tennessee. So if you know anybody out toward the Knoxville area, give them a text, let them know that they're dealing with something, but we're dealing with something here in the mountains, and that is the potential for some rotation here with this thunderstorm. I'm going to put that on, but I'm going to take it off because that is not the right speed there. Hang on. We're now moving east at 60 miles per hour, and it's very broad, but it's moving toward the Colson area right now. And over the next 30 minutes, as this storm continues to push to the east over the next 40 minutes or so, as we head over the next little bit. This is actually 30 minutes. So Colson here within the next really 3 minutes or so. Lucastown, 443. McRoberts by 450. Weeks-Barre, that's southern Floyd County, by 451. Dorton by 455 there in parts of Pike County. Hilton by 458, and if it continues where it is, Robinson Creek, that's south of Pikeville, and over toward Ash Camp here by about a little after 5 o'clock. So that's going to continue to push to the east at 60 miles per hour. So you don't have a ton of time to watch this as it pushes to the east. So we're going to continue to watch this particular thunderstorm with a tornado warning, which continues at this point until 5 o'clock for parts of Floyd, far southern not, or eastern, or southern not, yes. Northern Letcher, which does not include downtown Whitesburg. Far eastern Perry, I would say that threat is moving out of the polygon there. And southern Pike County, which does not include downtown Pikeville. So kind of backing up here, and we've also lost the rotation a little bit more, which is good news at this point. But that area of rotation is moving south.
The National Weather Service in Jackson, Kentucky has issued a tornado warning for northern Letcher County, east central Perry County, southern Knapp County, southern Floyd County, southwestern Pike County, until 5 a.m. At 4:33 a.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located over Cody, Oregon, 9 miles south of Hindman, moving east at 60 miles per hour. Hazard, tornado. Source, radar indicated rotation. Impact, flying debris will be dangerous to those caught without shelter. Mobile homes will be damaged or destroyed. Damage to roofs, windows, and vehicles will occur. Tree damage is likely. This dangerous storm will be near Colson around 4:40 a.m., Dean around 4:45 a.m., Spain around 4:50 a.m. Other locations in the path of this tornadic thunderstorm include Myra and Lookout. Repeating, a tornado warning has been issued until 5 a.m. for the following counties in Kentucky: Floyd, Knott, Letcher, Perry, and Pike.
As well. That one, the polygon does not include Whitesburg, but they decide to extend that one. That will include the city of Whitesburg, but right now it does not. But right now, any areas, and Evan, since you're back in here, let's zoom in here a little close to just south of Colson there on Velocity. And right here is the area. Basically, right here is my house. So if you live near me and you're watching, get in your tornado safe spot. We do not have any confirmed touchdowns, but again, just like the flood, we want to make sure you're staying safe there across that part of the region. I live just up the road from Poly. This is 931. I know that road very well. There's 7 going back toward Democrat through Colson, 1410 going over to Knott counties over that way. You've got Highway 15 out toward Isom. You got 931 that goes into Whitesburg if you continue to go over that way across Camp Branch Mountain. So again, any of those areas I'm calling out right now where these greens and reds are a little bit closer together, that's where we're watching that possible rotation.
That's right, Brandon. And I just want to point this out. Sorry, I had to get a drink of water.
That's fine. I got one when I was out, too.
Let me tell you, I'm a new man.
Yep.
As that pushes to the east, where it is losing definition, which is good. It's not nearly as tight as it previously was across portions of northern Letcher County there south of Colson.
Right.
And we're also watching just to the south. It's not in our immediate viewing area, obviously. The west side of Knoxville is under a tornado warning now.
So that storm is also moving kind of to the northeast. So is that clipping Campbell County?
No.
Okay.
They actually Morristown took that out of the warning. But,
okay.
That's going to move south of La Follette and south of Jacksboro, so that's not going to be a concern for us. But so back to the tornado warning storm in our area, we do have a little bit of that circulation, and that's why this tornado warning continues for another 18 and a half minutes there into northern parts of Letcher County.
So again, we're watching the areas, new scan just coming in there.
It's really broadened out.
Yeah, it's really broadened out. So that's some great news. But again, stay in your safe spot until we clear you, especially if you're in parts of Letcher County. And then in Neon, McRoberts, back over toward Beefhide, Dorton, Southern Pike County, close to Jenkins. And this will eventually drift into Southwest Virginia if it holds together. So again, if you're over in these areas kind of to the west of that polygon, you need to be in your safe spot and stay there until we give you the all clear at this point. But we're continuing to watch this. I will be real honest with you, and we're big about transparency here. I know, and I can probably speak for Evan too, we did not expect this to travel this far. We expected the possibility for maybe some severe storms back out into parts of the I-75 and Lake Cumberland corridor, but we've been tracking this as McCreary County. And Evan, we didn't expect this to come this far because the atmosphere over here has been worked over a lot already.
That's true. We saw a lot of rain during the day on Friday. I can't say today. We're well into Saturday.
It's Saturday now.
But yeah, we continue. Now we've had the dynamics in place, but we at the general idea was that these storms were going to run out of fuel before they got this far, and most of them have, to be honest here. It's just this one cell that keeps going. Now, we have some heavy wind up towards, and I'm looking at radar scope, up towards portions of Martin County, getting ready to move through downtown Prestonsburg. That is a stout line of wind.
But that's not a warned storm.
That is not warned. That is 50-mile-an-hour winds with that storm. Most of this is not severe, but the one area that has been into portions of... it's now into portions of northern Letcher County, and most of the area of rotation is going to be out of Knott County.
Right.
And that's the warning doesn't include Pippa Passes. If you know anybody on the campus of Alice Lloyd College, this is not a threat for them. It's well to their south. Excuse me, as that continues to push on to the east at this point.
Take me down to the south there, just south of Roxana, south and east there, right there.
It just looks like kind of the boundary of where.
Yeah, I was trying to see if that was anything, trying to get a little closer look. No, it's just, I saw the greens and reds and I was just trying to figure it out. But yeah, so that's not an overly concerning area, but I just want to keep an eye on that because if this warning gets pushed out, Whitesburg would be included in this one.
Yeah, I think that is the warning. You're going to let that go. Okay. Because that was for that original couplet that went a little further to the north.
Right.
So I think that warning is going to be allowed to expire. The one that includes Perry and Leslie and
I think we just lost a lot of our rotation here.
We really did. That is
so that's great
very
news.
Broad.
Yeah, so that's broadened out quite a bit. Now again, this is cycled up and down since it went through since it's come from McCreary County. We've tracked this storm literally from McCreary County. I thought it was Wayne County originally. I had to think about it for a second, but it was McCreary County when it actually hit a tornado warning. But again, this is great news because it shows that while the winds are still cranking, the rotation in the wind is not as stout as it was just one scan ago, even 2 scans ago. So that's some good news. But don't let your guard down. You're still on that tornado warning until, what was this, 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock.
Till 5 o'clock, so about basically 15 more minutes, coming up on 4:45 right now. But 15 more minutes, but still stay in your safe spot there for a while longer, even though it looks like again, we're looking in better shape there in Letcher County.
That's right, and we have seen no reports of anything on the ground. We've had no reports of damage.
Go.
Yeah, there's that other warning was let go.
Yeah.
And it was allowed to expire at 4:45. We have not seen anything on this at this point, and there's the next scan. And let me tell you, it's only partially in there. You see where that sharp cutoff is east of Colson?
Right.
That's kind of a radar anomaly as it's getting the full sweep in.
Right.
But that couplet is gone.
Yeah, so that one, but here's the thing. We're going to wait for a couple more scans. We're going to wait for the warning dam regardless, but we're going to wait for a couple more scans to see, because we have seen this all the way from out into parts of the western half of the area. It cycles up and it cycles down, but I don't believe, even from McCreary County, we've seen it completely disappear. We've seen it get weaker and more broad, but we haven't seen it completely disappear like it has here, and that's great news. But I can tell you right now, some of those heavy winds are still out there cranking into parts of coming up basically on the eastern half of Letcher County now. It's going to be crossing US 119 here pretty soon, 610 up toward Dorton, which is in southern Pike County, going up there a little bit into parts of Floyd County. You see Wilkes-Barre is still in this tornado warning. That's in southern Floyd County. Then Dorton, of course, southern Pike County. Jenkins is right there on the edge of this polygon as well. So again, this is good news, but don't let your guard down yet. Stay in your safe spot until this tornado warning expires, which should be here in about 14 minutes unless they let it go early, actually closer to 13 minutes at this point.
And that's right. And again, I'm going to put a loop on this.
Yeah, kind of take us back a little bit.
This is the last 3 hours of motion. Oh, that is way too fast. Hang on.
Maybe just do the last hour. Because the storm was moving so fast, there you go. So we've been watching this. Again, we've tracked this across most of the area there, and you can kind of watch it. We switched from one radar source to another, but watch basically starting here in Knox County. You can see a little bit when those greens and blues get together, then it switches over to greens and reds, and it's basically died at this point. So that's great news. But again, like I said, don't let your guard down just yet. Just got an alert from the WINT First Alert Weather app. Lightning detected 1.3 miles from Whitesburg. So again, a very electrical storm still over there right now. But we've been tracking this since basically McCreary County. So this has been coming across several counties. Warning keeps getting extended, but this might be the last shot for this storm. And again, let's go back to reflectivity for just a second, because I want to show you now with this warning how close these storms are getting to the borders. So this one right here, let's go kind of a more broad view in general. That way we can kind of show a lot of folks kind of where we're going. But a lot of these storms, most of them, there's still a few around kind of scattered storms just south of the I-64 Mountain Parkway corridor. There's just a few around Hazard to the south, back over into Knox County, but no other warnings except for this tornado warning there in Letcher County, parts of Pike County, parts of Floyd County. But most of that squall line getting more jagged. It is traveling out, and then you get back out into central Kentucky, dry. But this is not it. This is not the rest of this system, okay? We have more to go. Cold front, low pressure, still moving in, still moving through. We're going to continue to see winds be a big factor for us as we head through the rest of the day. So even when the storms move out, we are not done with this system. So please hear me when I say that. We could see wind gusts 40, 45, 50, 60 miles per hour, depending on where you are, throughout the day. Even if it's beautiful blue skies and sunshine, it does not matter. This is not a system that's going to go away quickly. So this is basically why I said on Friday morning, it's a 48-hour event, and we're still going through that right now. Wind advisory until 8 p.m. Saturday night. So tonight, basically, we're already well into Saturday morning. So until 8 p.m. on Saturday night. High wind warning kicks in at 8 a.m. this morning, goes to 8 o'clock tonight. You guys in those counties that are showing as a high wind warning are still under a wind advisory for now, but that'll kick over at 8 o'clock this morning to a high wind warning. Okay, so let's go back to radar, let's go back to velocity, and we'll continue to track that one storm there and see how it's going to play out for the next little bit. As a matter of fact, did they let that warning go?
No,
it's still there. It's still there. Just a little bit. But again, just south, if you're looking at reflectivity now, just south of Wilkes-Barre, and you can tell anywhere where it bows out like this, that's very strong wind. So it just went through Whitesburg, very electrical. You see the lightning strikes down there in Whitesburg, crossing back over. Jenkins could be hitting you pretty close, right? Is that anything right here, or is that just radar noise? Back over here just a little bit, right here. Kind of along the county lines there. Not really.
Yeah, it's a pretty
Kind of radar
unidirectional at this point to use a Jeopardy word there.
Yeah, so basically just north of Neon. And it's gone. So there you go. So 4:50. We've been tracking this since what? What time?
About 3 o'clock.
Yeah. So we went on the air about almost 2 hours ago. So again, the storm threat continues. The rain chances continue, but all the warnings have now been allowed to expire. So we're just before 5 o'clock here. We're not going to keep you too much longer, but if you're traveling along 119 this morning, you're going to see some heavy rain as it continues to work its way toward Pike County, eastern Letcher County there. Again, rain across most of the regions. Go out to a wider view there. Evan, real quick, to wrap this up. And
take us home.
We'll take us home. As we head into the late morning hours, the rain is going to clear out here probably the next 2 hours, honestly, by at least 7 o'clock. I would say most of this rain will be out of here and a thing of the past, but that is not the end of this system. Please hear me when I say that. Even when the sun comes out, even when those skies start to clear, phase 2 of this system will kick in. Wind advisory, high wind warning, those run until 8 o'clock tonight. Let's pull that map up one more time there. The tornado watch still goes out to 7 for some counties unless they canceled that, but we're not worried about that anymore because the areas that were included, the rain has even passed them. So this is what we're concerned about now. The high wind warning kicks in at 8 o'clock this morning. I know the map is already showing it, but it doesn't kick in until 8. Until then, there is a wind advisory in effect until 8. That will transition over into a high wind warning from the line basically through Powell, Wolf, Breathitt, Knott, Letcher, Dickinson, Buchanan, and then east. Okay, that's where the high wind warning will be, and that means you could see gusts 50 to 60 miles per hour in that. Now, the wind advisory is for basically Estill, Lee, Owsley, Perry, Harlan, Lee and Wise, Virginia, and west. Okay, regardless, that is still 45 to 50 miles per hour. Non-thunderstorm wind gust can still bring down power lines. With the saturated ground, still could bring down trees onto power lines, onto houses. So you need to stay weather aware. Keep that first alert weather app handy throughout the day. And again, just continue to watch. Even though when the rain is gone, we could see some issues even once these storms clear out. So again, approaching 5 o'clock, we're going to take you back to regular programming at this point. If anything else develops, we're not expecting that to. We'll be right back here on the air for you. But as you can see, these storms are on the way out. We appreciate you tuning in. We appreciate your trust, and we will see you a little bit later on this morning.